Welcome to Sportsmenlike Conduct. With special guest, James Watson. And now here is your host, Brandon Coulter.
All right, well, welcome to Sportsmenlike Conduct. I'm your host, Brandon Coulter, and
why are you acting like Mr. Rogers?
Because
hi, welcome to Sportsmenlike Conduct.
Because
what is going on, Coulter?
So before I introduce my guest, who you can already tell is kind of an idiot.
Now you sound like Scott Suggs.
Before I introduce my guest, I want to say this. The name of this podcast is Sportsmenlike Conduct. Today's episode, I think we're going to call unsportsmanlike.
I see where you're going at.
You see where I'm going? See,
yes.
it had flow, and then you just jacked it all up. I had it all in my head.
Whatever.
So the reason he messes it all up is because we go so far back.
Way back.
And I think y'all are going to enjoy some of the stories. Most of them, we kind of talked before this, and there's a lot of stories we can't tell. But we're going to try to get through the ones that we can and not get canceled. Can you tell where we are? So we got a little crowd going. I think they're excited about your stories.
Oh, yes. Especially that guy.
Exactly. He's rolling. So we are at Roosters. We're just down the road. It's this little tiny neighborhood bar that I've actually never been to.
Bull.
And our guest tonight is James motherfucking Watson Worldwide.
JMFW Worldwide. Thank you for that great introduction, Brandon
and I hope
Coulter.
we can edit that, maybe put a beat somewhere.
MF stands for Mr. Fish.
It really doesn't.
No, it doesn't. So.
But I do want to know the story.
Oh, we'll get to the story about that. How I got there with that name. You're probably you'll know the guy when I tell you how I
know
got
the guy?
it. Yeah.
I just figured you named yourself.
No.
Because you are James Watson. So I figured you just gave yourself a nickname.
That's true. No.
All right. Well, let's get to it. James, the whole point of this podcast is, we're all sportsmen.
Yep.
We all kind of, we get to do some really cool stuff because we've been in the outdoors. And, what got you started in fishing?
Well, watching my dad tournament fish, local, regional, and stuff growing up, that got me into the tournament fishing world. And then when, I was in high school, I fished buddy tournaments with my dad. And then when I got out of high school, I continued to fish. And then I realized I don't have any money. I'm broke. So I went broke and joined the Army.
Join the Army? Because you definitely didn't go fishing.
Yeah, no, I could not. Could not make enough money fishing to stay fishing.
So Army. Tell me about the Army. So you did some pretty cool stuff in the Army. We've had these conversations, but for those that don't know.
Well, that's some of the funnest times of my entire life. I almost 9 years in active duty, went in March of 1993. I've been out of high school for a year and a half. I didn't have a clue what I was going to do. And I got fed up with being broke. And I said, I'm getting the hell out of here. And I got out of Southwest Missouri, joined the Army as an engineer, and off to Fort Leonard Wood I went. And, I enjoyed every minute of the Army, made the most of it. It's pretty easy.
You did some drill sergeant, right?
Yeah. I spent 2 years, the last couple of years in the Army. I was a basic combat training drill sergeant there at Fort Leonard Wood. And that was entertainment at its finest. Some of my best entertainment was when I was a drill sergeant. Just
really?
Saying. Oh, yeah.
See, I find that hard to believe because we've had some pretty good entertainment.
Oh.
Now, does the Army fine you or punish you if you leave with a parachute flare?
No. No. Now, I don't know if that's really a controlled item per se, but yeah, you can't walk off the range with certain things.
That story will come up.
Okay.
There's a reason for the parachute.
I see. I know where you're going at with this. I was there.
Yes, you were. So, so you left the Army.
Yep. Got out 2001.
And, this is, then you started I mean, you didn't come into fishing right away.
No, I really never stopped fishing the whole entire time I was in. But, there's a stretch there that I did quit for a couple of years.
Okay.
So,
And then, in fishing, one thing we learn in fishing is everyone's got kind of a side hustle, right?
yeah.
And, I think everybody immediately thinks that, if you fish for a living, that, we're all millionaires.
Oh, yeah.
Like we just make
Gazillions of dollars.
gazillions.
Yeah.
But I do know you have a side hustle.
Yeah.
But something I did that I think was, you're not going to
I'm
like.
sure this is stupid.
You're not going to like, is I went ahead and texted some of our friends.
Did you?
Yes.
So-called friends or friends' friends?
No, friends.
Mutual friends?
Mutual friends.
All right.
And asked them, because you're James M.F. Watson.
Worldwide.
Oh, sorry. Left out the worldwide. What are James Watson's side hustles? Or what could he do to make his money? Because we really hadn't caught him very good this year.
That's true. Thank goodness I have other revenue streams. Are you asking me what my side hustle is now, or are you going to tell me what my friends think I should be side hustling?
I don't know. Go with your side hustle right now.
Well, I still own my real estate brokerage right outside the front gates of Fort Leonard Wood. Dropped my franchise. I was a Realty Executives franchise for 18 years and 4 months. We got rid of it last month, but we still have the brokerage. Renamed it. It's an independent office now, Jade Realty, right outside the gates of Fort Leonard Wood. And since February of 2013, I've been full-time fishing, which now, this month, makes the longest job I've ever had concurrent from like day 1 to 10 years. Yeah.
Well, that's a
Longest
good
job ever.
That's a good thing, because
Yeah.
what your friends think your side hustle should be,
Okay.
I don't think would have lasted that long.
Let's hear some of this.
So
And who
First of all,
does it come from?
I want to say, I don't want to get canceled on our very first podcast.
Okay.
So I'm hoping this is, I mean, we can't edit this out, right? Okay, cool.
You got to tell me who sends these side hustles to you.
I'm sword of secrecy.
Okay.
I think you'll hear them and you'll get some ideas.
Okay.
So the first one I got was, you could take the place of tattoo on Epstein Island.
The plane guy?
The plane guy
Little guy?
on Epstein Island. I think it's closed now.
Would that be my only job?
I don't know. I don't know what else they have there.
I don't either. Whoever come up with that one, they need to try harder.
Okay. How about a talent scout for foothub.com?
A talent scout for foothub.com. I don't like feet. So I don't think I'd fit in very well with that, whoever that sicko is.
Okay.
So
How about and this one cracks me up because it's just one word. How about a fluffer?
look, your friends aren't my friends. Obviously, these people don't know me very well.
And my favorite is a stunt double for Rascal Flatts lead singer Gary
yeah,
LaVox.
got that all the time. Back in the day, well, you remember.
I remember the
Yeah.
frosted tips.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring them back?
I could. I mean, look at this setup I got now. It's awful short.
It's kind of gray. It's not really frosted tips anymore.
No. But I had some nice hair back in the day.
But my favorite part about that last one is a stunt double.
Double.
What do you think the stunts are?
I don't know what the
You going,
stunts are.
like stage dive or something?
No. I don't think that guy did any kind of stunts. But I did look like, matter of fact, there for a few years, a lot of my buddies just call me Fat Rascal instead of Rascal Flats.
Oh my
They just
God,
call
I
me
had no
Fat
idea.
Rascal. Oh yeah.
We got to put that on your jersey.
Justin McClellan called me Fat Rascal all the time.
Can we get a jersey made?
You can. Look at all the money you're spending for this. Buckets of beer, Crockett Creek beef jerky. These are probably given to you for free, let's be honest.
You know, this podcast is brought to you by Crockett Creek Beef Jerky.
Good deal. Well, let's give them a good old plug right there.
There you
Some
go.
Sweet and spicy.
And I think
Just
there's
like
going
my
to be
career.
Hey,
What?
Rob's out there. Should we ask him?
Ask him what?
we need to give somebody a discount on Crockett Creek, or everyone, not someone.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Yes.
Hey, Rob, get back to us. We want a discount for everyone listening to get Crockett Creek beef jerky
Your code should be unsportsmanlike conduct
for this episode.
for 20% off.
No, just how about Fat Rascal?
Fat
If
Rascal.
you type in Fat Rascal,
Hashtag Fat Rascal.
that would be awesome.
You guys are all jealous of my hair, my fancy shirts.
We are.
And my shirts that I used to wear too, you know, when we would go out on the town, mostly Vegas and whatnots and various places the Bassmaster Classics would take us and stuff. I had always had a nice shirt, and you guys were always jealous of my nice shirt, so quit being
You
haters.
still wear jeans with bedazzles on the pockets.
No, I do not.
Yeah, you do.
I just wear nice jeans. You guys are jealous because my clothes cost more than your trucks.
Are they nice though?
Yeah, they're super nice.
Okay. So back to Fat Rascal. How did the nickname, or just we'll go MF from here on,
Yeah.
because I'm not sure if we can edit this.
You can?
How did MF and Worldwide come about? I mean,
Quite a few years ago. I'll tell
did you name yourself?
No, Cody Meyer.
Are you sure?
Pulled up one day, getting ready to coming in to weigh in, or might have been takeoff. I don't know what it was, but Cody Meyer pulls up to me, hadn't seen me or whatever, and he goes, "Man, if it isn't James motherfucking Watson," and I'm like, "That's right." And we're talking on, and I said, "You know what? I'm just worldwide, baby. I'm everywhere." And he goes, "Yes, you are."
What do you got in your glass there, Jay?
I've got some Breckenridge bourbon in my glass right here. You got a bucket of Coors Lights.
Yeah.
So
You know, that's what's kind of, I'm excited to do all of these podcasts.
you are?
I am. Mostly because you're here. So James and I go so far back that there was actually an organization that's not even in existence anymore.
That's true. Not because of us, though. We supported
It
it.
might have been us. The night after your PAA win, and probably may have been the downfall of the PAA.
Yeah, right.
You think
That was-
Soji called in and said, "Hey, you gotta
Soji.
shut down."
But yes. Oh man,
You gotta
that
tell
was
the
a good
story.
time.
So
We had a lot of good times. The PAA was fun. We had some good times there.
So to let you in on Soji Tabuchi, because most people don't know who he is,
Everybody knows who Soji Tabuchi is. What are you talking
I
about?
completely disagree. So we all fished an event back in the day called the Professional Anglers Association, the PAA, and it was a qualifier for the funnest tournament ever put on the planet, in my opinion, the Toyota Texas Bass Classic.
Yep.
And so we all decided to go try to make the Texas Bass Classic by fishing the PA qualifier
Yep.
on Table Rock Lake, which is where James leads all the debauchery.
Yes,
On
that's
that
where my
one.
house is.
You are the lead
Yes.
debaucherer.
Fat rascal.
Fat Rascal. So, as luck would have it, James wins the event, for God's sake. But everyone that stayed at James' house, killed it.
Look, you crushed it.
I think I finished third. I finished fourth. Scanlon was third.
Yeah,
Freddie was sixth.
yeah.
I mean, it was crazy.
Look, there's a lot going on in that tournament too.
What was going on? I don't
Look
know.
how many of us were there. I want to name off the guys that stayed at my place that time. You, Scanlon, Chris Brazier's, Bo Cross, Matt Airy, Brandon Polinick, Carl Jacobson.
Carl was in the closet.
Carl had the kangaroo flu. I told him, I said, you're gonna really open Pandora's box on this deal if we talk about that. Carl,
You think that was the original COVID case?
I promise you, COVID started. We called it the kangaroo flu. Art Montiel, my buddy Art, was there.
Yeah.
So upstairs in my house, I got a big master suite upstairs, and it's got a giant walk-in closet, and you can shut the door. And I had a single bed in there. Carl Jobson flies over back home from Australia and he gets to my house and he parks his boat and everything, and we do not see him for 4 days. He never comes out of the closet. In my
Not a
house.
bedroom, in a closet.
A giant closet in a bedroom.
Because he didn't know what he had, and no one else did, so they closed him in a closet.
We would
locked
just
the kid from Australia in a closet.
We would just slide toast under the door to him and stuff. These were days. Seriously, Art deemed it the kangaroo flu, and we're like, this fucking dude's gonna die in my house, inside my house. We're out here fishing, not a care in the world. And he was like, did anybody feed Carl today? He's on his deathbed.
Poor Carl, he'd never been here before. Like, this is his inaugural visit, Yet he doesn't have any leg to stand on. He's like, all right, I guess I'll just stay in the closet.
I'll just live here until I die. So that was a funny part of that week as well. And we were all stacked in there like all over the place. Boats in the yard. It was something else.
So everyone left. I think they shipped Carl back. Whatever happened. And the final day, there was like the final 10, and all of us were in it.
Yeah.
And Watson, was that your first ever check? I'm just kidding, because you acted like it that night. You acted like it's the first time you ever had $1.
It was the first big one.
Was it your first big one?
Yeah.
And so James wins. We all finish in the top 10. We're all going to the Toyota Texas Bass Classic. We all got some money in our pocket. And, of course, we're going to act a fool.
Yeah. Time to go out.
As much as you can act. We're in the Ozarks.
Yeah. Kimberly City.
Which you think, you're just going to run into normal Ozark people. Well, we get rolling, and we roll into a bar.
Which was named at the time what? The Bearded Clam.
Of course.
Yeah.
Why would it be named anything else?
Yes. Right. It's a pretty famous place in Kimberly City on Table Rock.
So we roll into the Bearded Clam, and
we're getting lit.
Oh, yeah, it's rolling. And James looks over at the bar and says,
holy shit, that's Soji Tabuchi.
And I'm thinking it's like some Ozark guy, right? It's an Asian guy.
World famous violinist, fiddle playing. I think he's Japanese dude. Got his own big show in Branson. Soji Tabuchi.
Of all randomness, we run into a Japanese fiddle player.
World renowned. You're just playing this off like it's just some dude that's got a little side hustle. This is the best
fiddle player ever.
Like, besides Charlie Daniels himself. This was like the Asian version of Charlie Daniels.
So we party with Soji.
Yes.
And
he loves bass fishing, by the way.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And it was a good night.
Yeah. Oh, it didn't end there.
No.
We're just getting ramped up.
So we could literally do a whole podcast on this one night. So we roll back to James's house, and for some reason, what time? It was October?
Yeah, it was October.
For some reason in October, James has $8,000 worth of July 4th fireworks.
Yes.
Why?
Cakes.
I have not questioned that. I've told this story 10,000 times in my life.
Well, it was my doctor buddy, Ryan Berlew, buys like $6,000 worth of fireworks every 4th of July. And
But why October? Why were they there now? Why was it shut off?
They were leftovers.
So, needless to say, we had plenty. Probably way too many.
Yeah.
I don't know if we couldn't find the mortar cannon.
No, you guys were having a contest. We just
were having a contest who could throw the mortars high enough.
Yeah.
Which we make our living with our hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's hold a mortar into our hands.
You idiots are out here baseball throwing.
And throwing it as far as we can.
I'm not talking like M80s. These were giant tube-sized mortars that you pay big bucks to shoot off.
Hey, Fred, can we get a disclaimer down at the bottom of this as we're talking that says, children, don't throw mortars with your hands, please. So we do all this idiocy, and it finally ends.
Yeah.
We thought it ended. Back to the parachute flare.
Yeah.
James comes running out of the house and mumbles something that I didn't understand and runs on this flat rock and just pounds this thing on a rock. And I'm telling you right now, Table Rock Lake lit up like it was noon, like it was daylight. I've never seen anything like this. The entire lake is just, we're in daylight all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I mean, it like,
For like 5 minutes.
and there's these flares coming down on parachutes. Dude, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
It was. I had one. I had gifted myself before I got out of the Army. I had one M127 parachute flare left in my inventory, and I thought this was the appropriate time to bring it out because they've been shooting these.
Rinky-dink flares.
Oh yeah, which were grade A, class A, freaking fireworks. And this parachute flare, and I set this parachute flare up. It was perfect too. I set it, pull it out of the canister, twist the top off, put it on the bottom. It's got this little. You have to hit it on a flat surface, and it's got an igniter in the bottom. Kind of, it just shot it off, and it goes whoosh, and it just floats over the Table Rock Lake for like 5 minutes.
And his house is on this beautiful, just high ridge, overlooking Table Rock. And I mean, I promise you, like, see the bridge. I mean, it is daylight. And everybody gets quiet. Or it's like, it was kind of a sobering moment, but not really. It was awesome. And so we're sitting there and we're all like, I don't know what just happened. But
I'm screaming, don't look directly at it. Keep your eyes low. Everything you taught the privates in the Army is like, don't stare at the flares. They'll see your face. Keep your heads down.
And somebody shoot me. Thank God there wasn't a sniper across the lake.
Then what happens shortly after that? Like 10 minutes.
Flare dies down, and everybody was like, man, that was awesome. What a night. Man, it ended with this great flare. And we're looking out over the water, and you just see this beautiful, like almost like a sunset on the water. There's just this orange glow.
Now this is well after midnight, by the way.
And I was like,
there's no moon out.
I was like, is the sun coming up? I mean, what's going? This is beautiful. And we realize that no, it's a fire down the bank
on the core
that we can't see.
Just over the bluff.
Over the bluff that we can't see, and it's reflecting on the water.
And it's working its way towards my house.
So we go over and we look, and literally, I mean, it's on fire. The bank, the whole brush, the trees. I mean, we have started a fire.
Yeah.
I think it was the flare. He thinks it was the mortars, but
it was definitely the mortars.
I'm not sure.
My flare was the safe.
So it was James, myself, Casey Scanlon, and Fireman Fred.
Fred
Rubanis. And Casey and I, all of a sudden, what are we going to do, right? Everybody's freaking out.
One of you had a broom.
No, you went and got the garden hose.
Yeah.
Fred, the fire is literally 500 yards away from James's house. And he's standing on the deck with a hose, garden hose, saying, I got the house. I'll protect the house. And Fred says, I got it, boys, and takes off.
Like, over the hill. Don't even see him.
Like he's going to die. He's gone into the flames.
Yeah.
And Scanlon looks at me and goes, what are you going to do? I said, man, I got flip-flops on. What am I going to do? And he's like, me too. So we watched Fred.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Fireman Fred went to work.
Yeah. I mean, fanatic.
I don't know how long it took, but he put the entire fire out.
Yeah.
He came up and he had
melted, brand new melted pair of white. I don't know if K-Swiss, Adidas, what were they?
His shoes were melted off. His pant legs were burnt. He had put out the entire fire. Yeah. Unbelievable.
That was funny.
Fireman Fred.
And he was shocked that his shoes were in such
he was like,
shambles.
Like, oh no, my shoes.
Oh, my shoes. What happened? It's like you just put out a forest fire. I think that was funny.
That was a good one.
There's a lot going on that night.
So what year was that?
2013.
God almighty.
Yep. That was October of 2000. That's 10 years ago.
So we make it to the TTBC from there.
Yep.
Was that the year that it got wild?
No, the year before did.
Uh-huh.
We'd actually made
back to back
in 2011 is when it got wild. Some sabotaging going on.
Yeah, on toward, one of the things that happens between guys is it gets boring,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, you're on the road all the time. You don't have your family. A lot of people don't have their family. And so this TTBC event's going on. And who was the band? Pontoon. Little Big Town or something?
Little Big Town. Yeah. Georgia, Florida line one year. I don't remember which one it was that year.
No, this event's crazy. Like, it was.
Now, listen, we got to tell folks that the TTBC, it's Texas Toyota Bass Classic, you took the top 15 from the FLW Tour at the time.
Yes.
The top 15 from the Bassmaster Elites, the top 15 from the PAA, and then they had 5 Toyota sponsor anglers or sponsored slots.
Right. So,
making a 50 person field.
Right. I had made it the year before through the FLW Tour.
Yep.
And you had made it through the PAA. So we go to the Texas Bass Classic, and dude, I was leading.
Yeah.
Like it was like,
I had like 29 or something.
Yeah,
crazy.
I had like an epic morning. It was crazy. And so I'm leading. I think I ended up in second or third by the end of the day, but I led forever. Well, my wife,
Deanna,
loves the Toyota Texas Bass Classic.
Oh yeah.
Like it was the only she didn't care if I made anything else in this world, because they had a giant stage and they brought in the greatest performers.
Yep.
And we had, ringside seats. We had literally backstage. They had a platform set up, and the wives would just, I mean, it was a good one.
It was a party.
And so I had to fish the next day. I think you were out.
I was out. This had to be the second.
After the second day.
Yeah.
And that's when they brought the band. So after the second day, we weigh in, and I'm in the finals.
Yeah. Now we're parked our boats. We beach our boats. This is a big field, and it's got a cove. It's protected off the main lake. And you beach your boats. You pull up there. You power pole down. You walk out. You don't worry about your boats.
Don't worry about your boat. So we go weigh in. Well, most sane people have weighed in, gone back to their boat,
loaded their
boat on their trailer,
and went home.
Or went home and then Ubered or whatever, came back and went to the concert. Well, I weighed in. My wife's up there. She's having a good time. James weighs in. All the wives are up there, so
I just stay with them.
We just decided to go up on and start hanging out.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've got to fish the next day. I should have left at 9:30.
Yeah.
Well, it's now 1.
Yeah, it's well after midnight.
And I still got to go the next day. So I go down to and I realize, oh crap, it's 1 o'clock. I've got to load my boat.
I got to charge my battery.
I've got to go fish tomorrow. So I go to load my boat, and poor Deanna's sitting in a truck. She doesn't know how to back a trailer. And I look over on this pond, and there's James's boat. He's the only one that still has a boat out there. And this pond is 3 feet all the way across. I mean, it's hundreds of yards across.
Yeah.
And I get the bright idea because, I may have had one or two.
Couple.
That I pull over to James's boat, and we have power poles, which are shallow water anchors. I lift his power poles up, and I drag his boat out into the middle of the pond.
This is just a big flat cove.
And anchor the boat. So he has no way to get to it, because there's no other boat in the pond.
That's it.
And I leave, and I go fish the next day. Yeah. How'd you get your boat?
So the next morning, I actually left my boat, and I don't know where I was at. Maybe Sprague's or somewhere. And I got a ride back to the facility, and going down the bank. I'm not thinking to look out very far. You guys had already took off and everything. Well, lo and behold, there's my boat. 150, 200 feet away from me, in the power pole down the middle of this flat cove. And that, granted, this big tournament already took off. I was like, did anybody dial my phone to ask me if I drowned or if I was alive? No. My boat just sitting right out in the middle of this cove. and nobody around, nobody concerned about my health and well-being.
I knew you weren't in your boat when I took it out there.
I know, but nobody else knew that. So I did finally catch a ride out to my boat, so I didn't have to swim to it.
You did get a ride.
Yeah.
See, I was hoping it'd be like 2:00 in the morning and you'd had to walk out.
Oh hell no! I'd already went. I wasn't about to go back and get my boat, and get my truck. I just jumped in with spray and went back, went to sleep.
So you're probably, these were good times. But let's talk a little bit about your career. So I'm assuming qualifying for the Classic was one of your benchmarks.
Yeah.
In your career.
Yeah.
Now, did you won an Open on Table Rock?
Yes.
It's the same place you won the PAA.
Yeah. 2 years apart.
2 years apart.
Yeah.
And qualified for the Classic.
Yeah. Made the Bassmasters Classic. The 16 Classic that Edwin won was the one I got to fish.
No one was on a bridge telling you Edwin caught 20 pounds and 25 pounds and messed up your head like they did poor Christy.
There wasn't any ruining my head. I was not.
You were in top 10 going in the final day.
Yeah, I was in 9th going in the final day and everything. But I knew you had to really catch a big old bag that next day the way it's setting up. It was ended up being my worst day of the tournament. But
now, who were your sponsors then? Because I want to talk to you a little bit about sponsorship.
well, not particularly. I've had some really good sponsors.
But back then was fairly normal.
Yeah,
Pretty tame.
I got a sponsor from that tournament.
Okay. From
Out of Tulsa, Balls Deep Tackle.
okay.
So they make sinkers that just look like
yeah, like you would expect them to look
Yes.
like.
And they were great for they were really big into the catfishing scene, but they wanted to break into the bass fishing world. So guess what?
Did you actually use the Balls Deep
Yeah,
sinkers?
I tied them on for a drop shot.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Did you catch fish on them?
Well, yeah.
It's a drop
They-
shot.
They bite the worm, not the sinker.
Okay.
You know,
So-
you don't have to entice them any with the balls.
So James calls me. Obviously, you have this new sponsor. It doesn't correlate. I don't know if we weren't. I think I was fishing Bassmaster at the time, and you were fishing FLW. So we weren't on the same tour.
Right.
So I didn't know. I didn't like keep track of your sponsor list.
Right.
So you had been to Norris Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And you call me and say, "Hey, Brandon, I've got to run back to Missouri for a few days. Can I leave my boat at your house?"
Yeah. Yep. It was before Norris Lake. We had an FLW Invitational. What's now the Invitationals.
Right.
Well, we had some of those a couple of years back. And I'm like, "Hey, I'm coming through your neck of the woods. I don't want to tow my boat all the way home. I got a tournament in Norris Lake. How far is that from your house?" "Oh, what is it, up an hour north of here or whatever."
Yeah.
Yeah. Drop your boat off.
So I
said, "Thanks,
told
bud."
James, just put it in the cul-de-sac. I'm not home. I'll put it in the garage when I get home. Not knowing who your sponsor list was. My kids.
Why would you be concerned with my sponsor list?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I live literally about a mile from here
Yeah.
in a pretty nice neighborhood called
Nice.
Forest Brook. It's respectable.
Yeah.
It's got a cul-de-sac, lots of kids. My boys were probably, what year was this?
They were teenagers.
Teenagers.
Yeah.
Well, I get a call and say, "We've got a problem." So what's the problem? "Well, there's 15 boys in your cul-de-sac playing kickball." I said, "Well, what's the problem with that?" They said, "Well, the backdrop, home plate, is next to a half-naked lady on a boat that says Balls Deep next to it."
What's a problem?
The boys thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
The Forest Brook families did not find it near as amusing as I did.
I thought it was great.
So you got to be careful when you ask James.
That's right.
Got another. You still have a sponsor that just.
Been a sponsor since day one. Uranus Fudge Factory. Big Louie, Mayor Louie from Uranus. He saw potential in me a long time ago.
Did he?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it started back there packing fudge.
That's what you did originally?
Yes.
You just packed fudge for Louis?
Just all the time, just packing fudge. And, finally I got certified as a fudge packer from Uranus. And, some of their slogans are like, the best fudge comes from Uranus.
It does.
That's some of their slogans, but
you've given me some of it.
It'll melt in your mouth. The fudge from Uranus, just,
Did you ever have, I'm going to be careful how I say this, because sponsor logos, you got to, right, it depends on what they pay you.
Where it goes.
Where their positioning goes on your boat.
That's right.
Correct?
Yeah.
So, how can I say this without getting canceled? Did Balls Deep and the Uranus Fudge Factory ever line up next to each other on your boat?
No, I see where you're going at with this.
Because that could have been really, really bad.
No, it didn't. It didn't, Brandon. So the good thing was Balls Deep was a pretty good paying sponsor for the few years I had them. So they had the outside wrap of my boat.
So Uranus was inside.
Uranus was on the inside, and Balls Deep was on the outside.
Because that could have been bad.
Nothing could ever be bad about that. So, but I'll tell you that the funniest position I ever got in with the old thanking your sponsors in 2016, this invitational at Norris Lake, where you let me park my boat before I went to the tournament. I ended up winning that tournament. And
probably your largest single monetary win of your career.
Yeah, it was $95,000. Wow. And Bill Taylor was the tournament director and stuff. So, of course, when you win, they let you come up, they hand you the trophy, they give you a minute to talk, and I told people how I was catching my fish, and I said, I got to thank a few of my sponsors. I want to thank Big Louie from Uranus Fudge Factory, and the best fudge comes from Uranus, and here come Bill. He starts walking up the stairs, and I said, but you know what? It's a great tournament. This 3-day event FLW put together for band. How about that for the fishermen? Let the locals fish in it. Boy, Bill back down the steps. And then I went on, and it's like, I want to thank my buddy over there, Balls Deep Tackle too. Here comes Bill right back up after me. I said, but boy, that old Bill Taylor throws on a good tournament. Bill, thanks for being a great friend in tournament. Well, he back down the steps. That's how I did that whole speech. It was good. Then I got my trophy and my money, and I left.
There you go. So you still got Uranus?
Yeah.
Balls Deep.
I don't know if they're even in existence anymore since they, cut cord with me in their marketing campaign.
Is that what happened?
Yes. They quit marketing with me. Went downhill from there.
Awesome.
But Uranus got 2 locations now.
How do they have? You can't have 2 Uranuses.
Different states.
So
one's in Anderson, Indiana area.
Did they just name? Did they just create their own town?
Pretty much. So they got one near Anderson, Indiana, Uranus, and Uranus in Missouri is right close to Fort Leonard Wood's front gate. So
I feel like this has been very unsportsmanlike.
Well, I don't think so.
No,
it's been very. This is whatever. You're not going to get canceled over this. We
should get into the things we can't talk about. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, we won't get canceled over this.
Why not?
Well, I mean, if it's just like when I borrow your truck and I say, "Ain't my truck. This ain't my podcast." So you can get canceled all you want. Doesn't affect me. You're only helping me.
I love
by letting me come on. Thanks for letting me come onto your podcast.
Do you ever loan people your stuff and you think, "Oh my God, my name's on it"?
No,
I do.
Really?
Like if you were to borrow my boat, I would freak out.
Why?
Because it says Brandon Coulter on it.
Oh. Well, you don't have your phone number on there, at least.
Yeah, I don't.
I got picked up by a dude one time coming across the big dam off Chickamauga.
Mm-hmm.
One time I'm driving across that from an event, and this guy calls me on my phone. Man, big fan, big fishing fan. Next thing I know, the dude's trying to get me to come home with him. Yeah, him and his other buddy.
Really?
Pretty risque.
Well, I mean, Look at your
immediately.
What sponsor was on your boat at the time?
It was my real estate office at the time, and it had my phone number on it. And I'm like, that immediately came off of my truck after that.
I guarantee it.
Yeah. It's like, does that make you uncomfortable?
It does a little bit.
Well, just think if it was you getting called.
I'm not that pretty.
Okay. Well, I had my
Do you have your
fat rascal hairdo.
Did you have frosted tips back then?
Yes, I did.
I mean, what made you want to frost your hair?
Dude,
Like never in my life.
When I got out of the Army.
Never in my life have I gone and thought, can you frost these tips for me? Ever.
And how long have you been married?
Long enough.
Okay, there's your answer, folks.
So you think it helped you pull?
Absolutely.
I disagree.
All right.
I mean, ladies,
Step up. That's all I can tell you. Ladies, step up.
are you single?
I've been single my entire life, almost, except the time I was married. So
How long was that for?
13 years.
No kidding.
Yeah. I've been divorced a lot longer than that. But no, I've had some serious relationships.
Good.
My friendship with you's been serious.
We've been. At least you didn't
We've
lock
been
me.
balls deep for years.
I'm just glad you didn't lock me in a closet.
We feed you bread. Poor Carl had the kangaroo flu. Could have died. He would never won a Bassmaster Elite if he had died at my house that time.
And he has won a Bassmaster.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. Thank goodness he didn't die.
So FLW Tour, back to actual, like, things maybe people care about. I'm not sure they care about any of this. So, you never fished the Elite Series?
No. I just fished a handful of opens here and there. That's all.
Were you ever like interested in trying to qualify, or were you happy with your stage? And
There's no way I would ever qualify.
there's no way you would qualify?
No.
Well, you are like, I mean, I think you are considered probably, one of the best, if not the best, fall fishermen.
Yeah. I would say that's about the only time I can catch bass.
Well, and since, they say you learn from your mistakes more than your victories.
Yeah.
So what shouldn't we do in the spring? Because obviously you suck.
We shouldn't have tournaments until the bass are on the bed spawning. Period. Never have a pre-spawn tournament.
So your answer to getting better in the spring is just not
have tournaments. Exactly. Don't have tournaments.
It's logical.
Yeah. It's like, we're getting ready to have a tournament here on Douglas Lake.
It's cold.
Yeah. It wasn't 2 weeks ago, but it is now. It's March. So, good. Hope it snows.
It'll feel like fall.
Yeah.
This podcast is sponsored by Crockett Creek.
All right, now that we're back from a little break,
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Did you make a classic?
I did.
Yeah. What year did you fish the classic?
So I fished a classic in 17, the year after.
Okay.
Or it was 17 season.
Okay.
Of the elites.
Okay.
So I qualified through the Elite Series. So I left. See, we fished FLW together.
Yep.
Up until 2015, and then I left and went to Bassmaster.
Right.
And I fished, I think, 5 years with Bassmaster.
Okay.
I only made one classic, missed it. So funny story. Really not funny for me.
Sad story.
So, bass, really, and it's not bass. It's Major League Fishing. It's FLW. All organizations that have given us these platforms to fish, they're in constant change.
Oh, yeah.
And so a lot of times you qualify under one set of rules, and then the next year there's a new set of rules.
Yeah.
So my horror story of not making my first classic my rookie year was, if you're in the top 3 in the points in the opens, you make the classic.
Yeah.
The year I qualified, I was 3rd. Here I go, right? Nope, they changed it. You had to win one to get in.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not get in. Then they changed it to the championship at the end of the year was never for points.
Right.
It was just a made-for-TV event.
Yep.
You know, if you were in the top 50, you fished it's a bonus event.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I was in the classic at the end of the season.
Yeah.
They changed it that year to a points tournament, and I tanked it and fell out of the classic.
Gosh.
So I was in the classic and out of the classic twice in my rookie year. But
Yeah.
so what?
Well, at least you
No
got
one
to fish
cares.
one.
But I did get to fish one, and as a kid, you kind of dream. My dream was never. It's weird to hold the classic trophy. My dream was to drive into that stadium in my boat,
Yeah.
and I got to do it.
I did that, and I played air guitar as I did it
That's awesome.
to my custom made walk up music.
I played Nickelback because I wanted to piss everybody off. It was
that is-
awesome.
Horrible.
It was awesome. I did it completely as a joke. I sent it to the guy because I love the guy.
And
at
this
Bassmaster.
is a guy making fun of my nice hair back in the day.
I'm a music guy. I'm from Philadelphia. I mean, I love music. And as a joke, I sent him Nickelback, and he said, everyone's going to hate it. I said, that's why I'm going to love it. And so I played Nickelback at the Classic. It was
That's
the greatest
stupid.
thing ever.
It's the worst ever.
It was awesome.
If I had to do all over again, I'd have Soji Tabuchi there blasting some Soji Tabuchi.
You should have him on your boat,
You should have him on your podcast.
fiddling. Dude, can you arrange that?
Yeah, I can do that. You have to come to my house though.
I'm in. We'll do a pot. Just line it up.
Do it. Done. Who else can get from Branson Strip there?
We gotta start a fire and get Fred there. That could just be like our background. Fred just running around
Yeah.
putting out a fire.
We can tell Fred that we got some really good deals on some fishing equipment. He'll show up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, James and I are both on Major League Fishing now,
Yep.
right? So that was an interesting path. So, James started with the Major League Fishing Selects.
Yep. The first year.
Very first year, you were one of the original people.
Yep.
And what year did you win Center Hill?
2015,
Okay.
14 or 15.
So let me get this right. So you've only, I mean, your biggest wins have been 2 at home and 2 in Tennessee.
Yes. Yep.
I mean,
Pretty awesome.
you should pay taxes here.
I know I should. You guys don't have room for me here in this beautiful state, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't afford to live here in Knoxville with you. You guys are
Oh yeah.
high rollers near Knoxville and Roosters.
Yeah. I'm sure the bluff at Table Rock's cheap.
I
And you're
did
building
actually-
a new house, right?
I am building a new one.
Yeah.
2 lots over from that one.
Yeah, you can't afford us.
Nightly rental at my place. Just went up a few $100.
A baby. So I started in the selects,
Yep.
and then we kind of both graduated to. I left Bassmaster and went to, the Bass Pro Tour.
Yeah,
Major League Fishing.
2019 when they stood that up.
Yeah.
So I was FLW at the time. There's only a handful of guys that were asked to come fish the selects that were FLW guys. And I was one of them. And I took that opportunity and ran with it. Had some good shows. Built my brand up. And, I can thank FLW and Major League Fishing for that.
So in that event, I think the most memorable, what's funny is I don't watch anything I'm ever on. So I want to select, never watched
On
it.
Champlain.
Never watched it.
Yeah.
I'm weird about that. I don't like
It's
seeing
weird.
myself. I probably won't watch this podcast.
Well,
You have to tell me how it goes.
well, that's horrible.
It is terrible, but I just don't like to watch stuff I'm on. It's weird. So I've never seen mine, but I watched yours, and the most memorable thing from that event, well, one, you were spoonjacking on Center Hill, and you introduced the world to it.
Yep.
Spoonjacking, that just fits you. So
I know, doesn't it?
it's awful.
Perfect.
Go look it up, but don't look it up on FootHub because it probably has a completely different.
I don't even know what this foot hub is.
So, but you signed the dock you caught the fish out of, and I
Yes.
thought that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Yes. Yeah. So it was pretty exciting. I mean, there's so many bass underneath the suspended on this marina dock, that my spoon would hit them, and I snagged so many of them, so on and so forth.
Is that legal?
Huh?
Was that legal?
It wasn't legal. It wasn't my fault that they would run into my lure. But I had one particular slip, and I was catching a bunch of them out and got a lot of fish out of and a lot of bites out of, and it was deemed a glory hole. So I got out my big giant Sharpie at the end of it, and I went over to the white, the bumpers, the white bumpers on it, that white bumper on there, and I put the glory hole and then the autograph.
There you go.
Autographed it right there.
Is that the strangest thing you've ever autographed?
No. At one time at a boat ramp, and it was not in Tennessee. I don't know where it was, but it was not in this great state. But someone asked me to sign their wiener.
Are you serious?
I swear to God. This lady had 2 wiener dogs, and she asked me if I would sign her wiener. She had one short hair, and I autographed it on its belly.
You literally signed a wiener dog?
Yeah. And then she come up to me, she said, "You're one of my favorites. Would you sign my wiener?" And I'm like, "Absolutely. I'll sign your wiener." And she handed me her miniature dachshund.
I may get fired for this, but it wasn't Tracy, was it?
No. Little Timmy.
2 wiener dogs.
Little Timmy.
God almighty.
Oh, boy.
I feel like that's going to get edited out.
No
for sure.
way.
So, hey, Rob, speaking of Crockett Creek,
Yep.
Rob gave us a thumbs up.
Good.
We're getting everyone, not just you,
Everyone?
everyone. And listen, you don't have to like log on with a code and say Fat Rascal, but if you would, I would really appreciate it. You just have to go to Sportsmenlike Conduct, right? That's all you got to do.
You got a website.
Go, crockettcreek.com,
Okay.
crockettcreekbeefjerky.com.
Okay, perfect.
Go there, put in the code Sportsmanlike Conduct, 20%
Not Fat
off.
Rascal.
No, but if you hashtag Fat Rascal, I'll do something. I swear to God, if you hashtag Fat Rascal, I will send you something. Every order that says hashtag Fat Rascal will have something else.
All right. Good. Do it.
Some Boss Deep weights.
Well, that gets expensive on shipping.
Okay.
Yeah, don't overdo it.
Don't overdo it.
Maybe you should give them one of your Sportsmanlike Conduct podcast stickers that you don't have made yet with your face on it.
We're just getting started.
Just say
You did have worldwide stickers, didn't you? Oh
got
my
'em
God, that
everywhere.
was so terrible. You stuck
Dude.
one on my boat.
Dude, I got them everywhere. I planted them all over Charlotte, North Carolina the other night.
You still got them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I should have brought one in.
You should have.
Yeah. You need it. Everybody needs one. Everybody wants one.
Well, James, I think we've run the course.
I know I have. I don't know about you, but
I mean, it's been a good
I
one.
did my part.
It definitely lived up to the unsportsmanlike. So we need a sign back here that says
You're working on it.
unsportsmanlike conduct. For
You're working on it.
Yeah, needs to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Needs to happen.
Yeah. You need your sponsors, Crocker Creek. They can step up.
I mean, they've got it.
Yeah. They're out here watching
I know.
and looking.
Can you hear them playing pool in the background?
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome. No, I mean, for sure, Roosters, thank you. It's a neighborhood bar here. I have been here before, I think once. I've seen it. I've driven by it a lot. It was really
Yeah, you live here.
it was really nice of them to open up
I
the door.
call you on a Thursday afternoon at 2:00. Hey, man. I'm like, you can hear this in the background. I said, you must be at Roosters. Yeah. Kenny and Rob and I are all over here at Roosters, 2:00 on a Tuesday.
Maybe
Don't you guys got jobs?
maybe someday they'll give us our own table.
You already got that too. I'm certain that you got your own table.
But no, I do want to thank James. If nothing more, it was awesome to go down memory lane.
Oh, man.
I mean, it had been. I mean, I can't believe it had been 2010 and 13.
13.
Yeah.
13's when I won that one, but we've been.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
you were
long
on the
time.
FLW. Yeah, you were on the FLW tour
Crazy.
when I came
Yeah.
on the tour.
I mean, unbelievable. So it was. A lot
Nobody
of
knew
fun.
who you were
They still
not
don't.
much has changed.
They still don't.
So
That's why I bring you on the podcast. So maybe they'll get to know me.
it's not who
That's
you
the whole
are.
point
it's
of
the
me
people
starting
you know.
this.
That's
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And it'll rub off on
You're
me a
welcome.
little bit. Thank you. So I want to thank James and everyone else. I mean, I would say this is sportsmanlike conduct, but I feel this was very unsportsmanlike. And
You'll be
James,
all right.
come back and see us again.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
A marketing production.